Western Mass News.
We begin tonight following new developments in that deadly shooting that took place in Springfield Monday that involved 3 young children. Welcome everyone to Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Abby Carnevale. We have now learned the shooter committed suicide after shooting and killing the grandmother of those children and then opening fire, hitting 2 out of 3 of them. Western Mass News reporter Kristen Burnell joins us live with the story. Kristen?
Chris and Abby, that deadly shooting happened at a multi-family home behind me, drawing the attention of dozens of neighbors. Now, we spoke with a mental health specialist who shares some of the resources available for people who have witnessed a traumatic experience in active gun violence like this one unfold.
A lot of these traumatic events, raise a lot of anxiety, and people may not feel safe. So to be around people that make you feel safe is really the best thing.
Horrifying moments played out on Monday afternoon at this multi-family home on Berkshire Ave. A Springfield grandmother shot and killed, and 2 of the 3 grandchildren with her also shot, one now in critical condition. A family now in mourning and a community left on edge. The shooter, who has now been identified as 34-year-old Victor Nieves. Investigators say he left his upstairs apartment in this home and then forcibly entered through his neighbor's front door and began shooting the people inside. Our Western Mass News crews arrived shortly after 3 p.m., capturing this video of the scene. According to the Hampton District Attorney's Office, police officers entered this first-floor apartment and found the shooter, Nieves, dead on the floor, alongside 52-year-old Kim Fairbanks of Springfield and a dog, both also dead. Officers then entered a bedroom where they found 3 siblings, ages 12, 10, and 5, 2 of which appeared to be victims of gunshot wounds. All 3 were rushed to Bay State Medical Center. The 10-year-old girl was shot and airlifted to Boston Children's Hospital, where she remains in critical condition. The 12-year-old girl who was shot remains in stable condition at Bay State, and the 5-year-old boy was unharmed. Neighbors who witnessed Monday's events unfold tell us they did not want to go on camera for an interview, saying they are completely overcome with emotions following this incident. Matthew Robinson with Behavioral Health Network tells us resources are available to those coping with this traumatic experience.
A recommendation for an outpatient therapist is always a good start, so they can talk about what they saw if they're ready. Talk about how they're feeling about it, and more importantly, talk about how they can be safe. We contacted some city officials to try and arrange for our trauma response team to come out and aid people with what they witnessed.
An investigation into the shooting remains ongoing by the Hampton District Attorney's Office. Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno also releasing a statement on the shooting, saying in part, quote, "I have spoken to the mother of the children who were seriously harmed by an unprovoked and despicable attack put forth by Victor Nieves. I ask our caring community of Springfield to keep this family in their thoughts and prayers and be prepared to once again aid them in their time of need." Now, meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to cover the funeral expenses of the grandmother, as well as the medical expenses for the 2 young girls. A link to that can be found over on our website, westernmassnews.com. Reporting live in Springfield, Kristen Burnell, Western Mass News.